Welcome in, along with Steve Palazzolo. I'm Eric Eager. We're going to talk college football this week, brought to you by mybookie.ag. We're going to go to Ohio State versus Michigan, the game. Michigan is favored by 4.5 points. We actually like Ohio State slightly favored here. What say you, Steve?
I don't think it's that crazy because I think when you look at Ohio State, they've got a good history. Not that we're going to go back and say, okay, they always win at home against Michigan, but I think there's something to Urban Meyer getting his teams up for the game or for one big game, despite what you've seen in previous weeks. We've seen Ohio State in the past get smoked by Iowa, get smoked earlier this year by Purdue, and still bounce back. I do have concerns about Ohio State's defense this year compared to their defense in previous years, but with Ohio State's pass game, the best pass game that we've seen in Ohio State in history, I think, the best they've ever seen behind Dwayne Haskins and those playmakers, I don't think it's that crazy.
Yeah, and I think when you go to the passing game, obviously Shea Patterson has brought a lot to Michigan in terms of quality of play at the quarterback position. He's grading extremely well. 28.6% of his dropbacks are positively graded. However, his supporting cast is nowhere near as good as Dwayne Haskins with Ohio State. For every ball, every yard that the ball is in the air, Ohio State's generating 1.13 actual passing yards. It's almost a quarter of a passing yard more than Michigan is generating here. So I think that the explosiveness, I think that the variety that Ohio State has in terms of their passing offense, they're first in the Big Ten and by a wide margin in early down passing success. I just think they present a challenge here for the Michigan defense that has been great all season, but it will be tested substantially here.
You talked about Michigan's defense, and that is the one thing. I don't think Ohio State's played a defense like Michigan, and their ability to rush the passer, to play well at the linebacker level with guys like Devin Bush. And then if you look at the cornerback numbers, between David Long, Lavert Hill, Brandon Watson back there, they have just shut down opposing offenses. But I know the more you run through the numbers, you focus more on offense rather than defense. Why is that when you're going through these numbers? Because that's always something, we like to talk about defenses and analysis, but you guys tend to push it aside a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, defense is very, random in terms of like the outcomes, right? So a cornerback makes a really good play on the ball, and it shows up in the stat sheet and on the grades as well. But oftentimes we've seen players, make substantial plays on the ball, or quarterbacks elevate themselves in these big games. And in that case, offense is more, predictive because defenses are sometimes just powerless to stop some of those things. So while Michigan and they've been the best team in the Big Ten in terms of early down success allowed, we're going to lean towards the passing offense for Ohio State. I think the key also here to remember is the point spread here is 4.5. So if this game is close, if it's a field goal game, even if it's a 4-point game, you're still going to win here with Ohio State and their better passing offense.
Yeah, so between Ohio State's passing offense and you're saying, again, Michigan having the defensive advantage maybe isn't as strong on paper as people think. And again, while Shea Patterson is grading extremely well, they're more of that play-action, opportunistic passing game. Patterson's doing a good job throwing the ball down the field, but a lot of times the ball is in Haskins' hands to make plays left and right. The other thing that Ohio State's done well is using Dwayne Haskins in the running game in recent weeks instead of just having him be the drop-back passer. Just that little extra 4 or 5 yards here and there in the running game just helps your offensive efficiency.
Yeah, and on the other side of the ball, Michigan's been pretty good offensively in terms of rushing the football, and that actually has not been where Ohio State's had their deficiencies defensively. They are allowing less than 40% of early down rushes to grade successfully, so it is really going to be a very isolated weakness for Ohio State, and we think that they'll give up some things, but they'll be able to compensate on the other side.
So you feeling pretty good about Ohio State as the play here?
I do, and if you agree with me, go to mybookie.ag. It's got all the bet types that you want. It's got in-game live betting. You can bet on Tuesday night action if that's your thing. You can bet on mid-major or college basketball if that's part of your taste. But in any event, mybookie.ag is the place to go. Promo code PFF. You play, you win, you get paid.